This is Kaylee from Crochet Unraveled, and I'm excited to share with you this mini interlocking block stitch tutorial. Make sure that you watch this video all the way to the end because the last row is a little bit different than the rest, and I don't want you to miss out on that. Other than that, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and if you'd like to, go to crochetunraveled.com to sign up for my email list so you don't miss out on any future tutorials. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is chain a multiple of 2 plus 1 stitches. So any uneven number that is the length of the project that you want to crochet. I did 21 chains to start with. You can go ahead and pause the video here and do your chains, and then I will show you what to do for your first row. Once you've crocheted your desired number of chains, you're going to do a double crochet stitch into the third chain from your hook. I like to work into the back bumps of the chain stitches sometimes because it creates a nice little braided look. I use US crochet terms, so when you do your double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop so you have 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops on your hook. After we do our double crochet stitch, we're going to follow it up with a chain. So yarn over and pull through to create that chain stitch. Next, we're going to skip the next chain stitch and then do another double crochet into the following chain stitch. So I'm still working into that back bump. I'm pointing out the stitch here so you know where to insert your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over again, pull up that loop, so you have 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through those last 2 loops on your hook. And then we're just going to do that again. So chain 1, skip 1 stitch, and then double crochet stitch into the next one. And we're going to repeat this pattern all the way to the end of the row. So if you want to pause the video, I will meet you at the end of the row. And then if you want to change colors, I'll show you how to do it there. And then we will work on our second row. So now I'm at the end of my row here. I'm doing my final double crochet stitch. And I'm going to change colors for the next row, so I'm just going to finish that stitch, cut my yarn, and then I'm going to pull that end through my open loop to finish up this row and tie it off. And there you have row 1. So now let's go ahead and get started on row 2. I'm going to pick up my new color and make a slip knot. I'm just going to go ahead and put it on my hook, tighten it down to the size of my hook, and then flip my work over so that we can start crocheting in the other direction. Insert your hook into the top of that first stitch, which was the last stitch we did of the first row. And I'm just going to start this row by chaining 2. If you decide not to change colors at the end of your last double crochet stitch, just chain 2 and then turn your work and start right here. So I'm going to start by yarning over, and then I'm going to insert my hook into that first empty chain from the foundation chain. Now we're going to do what's called a spiked double crochet stitch. So it's exactly the same as a double crochet stitch, except you're going to lift up those loops really nice and high, like I showed you right there, so that your work is on the same level as the second row. Then we're going to do a chain stitch and do another spiked double crochet into the next empty chain from the foundation. So insert your hook into that empty chain after you yarn over again, pull up a loop nice and tall, yarn over, pull through 2, and then finish it by yarning over and pulling through those last 2 loops on your hook. And then just like that first row, we're going to repeat all the way to the very end, alternating between chains and spiked double crochet stitches. This first row is a little bit tricky because you don't have a lot to hold on to, and it's always annoying to insert your hook into those chain stitches. I'm clearly having a little bit of trouble here as well, so don't worry if you struggle a bit. I promise you the third row will be much easier. Make sure that you pull those loops nice and tall for your spiked double crochet. And go ahead and continue this repeat to the end of the row. I'm going to change colors again, but you don't have to. I will meet you at the end and we will talk about what to do for our third row. So now I'm at the end of that second row, just working my last few stitches. You see that chain there, and then we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into that top chain from the turning chain from row 1. And this one we're just going to do a normal double crochet stitch to finish out this row. And then I'm switching colors again. If you aren't, just go ahead and chain 2, turn your work the other way, and get ready for row 3. But I'm cutting the yarn here, and I'm going to tie it off. So now that we're on to starting row 3, this is our pattern repeat row. So you are going to follow the instructions for this row until the very last row. That one's a little bit different, like I mentioned. So to start off row 3, I'm going to get my next color ready, flip my work around, and then attach my new color to the top of that last double crochet stitch from row 2. And I'm just going to start by chaining 2 like we did last time. This row is very similar to row 2. The biggest difference is where we're going to put our hook for those spiked double crochets. So yarn over, and we're going to put our hook into the top of the double crochet stitch from row 1. Then make sure you're pulling up those loops nice and high like we did for row 2. And then we're just going to chain 1, skip over that spiked double crochet from row 2, and then insert our hook into the top of the next double crochet from 2 rows below. Just go ahead and continue repeating the chain stitch with the spiked double crochet stitch after it, and repeat that all the way to the end of the row. If you need to, go ahead and pause the video, and then I will meet you at the end of this row and we will talk about how to do your final row. So I'm at the end of row 3 here. I'm just going to chain 1 and then do my double crochet stitch into the top of that turning chain from row 2. From here, I'm going to cut and tie off my yarn. And make sure that you are repeating the instructions for row 3 until your project is as long as you want it to be. But I'm going to show you in this next row how to do the final row of your mini interlocking block stitch project. So just like the rest of the rows, we're going to attach our new color, but this time we're just going to chain 1. And if you're not changing colors for this row, just chain 1 at the end of the last row and then turn your work. Then we're going to do a single crochet stitch into the top of the last double crochet stitch from the previous row. We'll follow up that single crochet stitch with a spiked double crochet stitch like we've been doing this whole time. So inserting your hook into the top of the spike double crochet from 2 rows before. And then instead of doing a chain stitch, we're going to do a single crochet stitch into the top of the next spiked double crochet from the last row. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and then pull through both loops on your hook. And then just repeat the same pattern all the way to the end of the row. And essentially what those single crochet stitches do is fill up the holes that the chain stitches have been leaving for the previous rows. That way you don't have any gaps in your work and the final row looks nice and finished. Go ahead and keep repeating this single crochet and then spiked double crochet stitches until the end of the row. I will meet you at the end and I'll show you how to finish off your work. So I just did my last spiked double crochet of the row. I'm going to do a single crochet next. And then I'm going to finish the row with one last single crochet stitch into the top of the turning chain from the previous row. And that is how we're going to cleanly finish up our mini interlocking block stitch project with the final row. I hope you picked out some really fun colors like I did. I love the rainbow effect, but I'm excited to see what you made. If you want to share it with me, you can go ahead and email it to me at kaylee@crochetunraveled.com. Again, make sure you go to my website and sign up for my email list if you haven't already and you would like to be notified of new tutorials and other fun things that I have going on. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.